Yes, I would like to introduce Kirsten Pape. Kirsten is Assistant Director of the Office of Service Learning at the University of Missouri. She runs the, oh gosh, I can't read my handwriting, MU Civic Leaders Internship Program, also known as CLIP, and she teaches civic leadership at the university. So Kristen, it's all yours.
Thank you, Carrie. Yes, so I am the Assistant Director in the Office of Service Learning, and we run a lot of great programs through the Office of Service Learning. So I think the whole idea was to continue with the theme of inspiration and being a change agent, which you guys clearly are on your path to becoming. And so the Office of Service Learning at Mizzou is here to help you. I'm going to give you some tips on things moving forward as you engage with the community, as you become a more active citizen, and as you look to kind of the future in regards to your service. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. My background is I'm a Mizzou alum, just so you know a little bit about me. And I got my undergraduate degrees in English, history, and philosophy here from Mizzou. And then I went out into the world. I was in AmeriCorps Vista for a while, trying to kind of find my path. And then I came back and I got my master's in public affairs. And my focus area was nonprofit management and community organization and change. And I fell in love with students. So Mizzou, Mizzou just went to my heart, and I loved working with students and guiding them. I was a graduate teaching assistant in the Office of Service Learning, so many, many moons ago. And I just loved it. And so as I was getting ready to graduate and kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, I decided that I was going to become an academic advisor. So I did that for many years. I worked in our degree program called Interdisciplinary Studies here at Mizzou. And then I went into the biology department, and I worked in the biology department for a long time. And then I came back to the Office of Service Learning. So I went full circle. And in that office, our goal really is to connect students with the community, and for them to really be able to bridge what they're learning in the classroom and what's going out in the community. So again, that's kind of what this is all about. It sounds like I'm just echoing conversations that you've already been having in regards to being a change agent and being critically involved in community issues. And I think that's really what we pride ourselves on in the Office of Service Learning. Whether or not you're doing a program with us or not, we try and inspire students to be active learners as they participate in the community, learn from the community that they're serving, again, be leaders within that community, but step back and really analyze the problems and social issues that they're addressing, so that they can be a change agent and they can be an active citizen in that community. And so that's really what we pride ourselves on in the Office of Service Learning. So I thought kind of a fun activity would be to potentially talk about what goes into writing a mission statement. I thought that might be interesting approach in regards to oftentimes when we're doing research on a community issue or problem, or when we are serving ourselves, we don't really take the time to step back and really look at the bigger picture and kind of the drone view of what that agency does. And so I thought that might be interesting, but I know we don't have that many students on the call. And then we've got some Mizzou students. So has anyone on the call, I'm just going to ask if anyone has anyone started a nonprofit or looked at starting, a group or an organization addressing a particular issue or anything like that? No, okay, so this would be new. So let me pull up, I think I can share my screen. So let me pull up my PowerPoint. And I just thought this might be a fun thing to do. Originally I was gonna break you guys into groups, but I don't think that I will torture you that way. So let me get on here. And pull up my first slide. Let me see if it'll let me do the slideshow. Okay. So I do this exercise a lot with my students. When students come to our office, so just to give you an overview, our office, we work with students in a global service program. So students who want to go to abroad, primarily to developing countries, and they want to go abroad and really explore that agency. And so they go abroad and they serve in a developing country, and we offer them credit there. It's faculty led, and students really become part of the community and addressing those community issues. So that's one element of what we do in the office. We also facilitate all of our service learning classes. So I apologize, I forgot to turn my phone off. We facilitate all of our service learning classes, and we also do nonprofit internships, government internships, and congressional internships. So a lot of what we do as students is really have them focus in on social issue and problems that they're passionate about, and we help connect them with various different programs that will allow them to explore that. So I thought this might be a fun exercise to do. So again, I usually ask my students when they come in, if I gave you $5 million, what would you do with that money? What type of a nonprofit would you build? Who would you invest that money with? What type of population would you look at? What are you passionate about? And again, I think this goes to what Dr. Spain was talking about, is what inspires you. So we find when you do community service that you're a much better volunteer, you're much more engaged, you become a change agent if you're connected with the mission of that organization. So I often tell students it's very challenging to write a mission statement because it's very short. It has to be very clear and concise. It's really about name branding. So it's a great exercise to kind of deal with your communication skills as well. But it's a good way to kind of think about, what you want to do in the future and how you want to be impactful and how you want to be a change agent. So some good examples of a mission statement. Here's one from the American Heart Association. So they're really focusing in on being very straightforward and moving their population. So they're really looking for that emotional connection. So their mission statement is building healthier lives, free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Very simple, very simplistic, but really gets to the point of what they do as an agency. The Columbia Center for Urban Agriculture, I thought might be a good one, since a lot of what you're focusing in on is food insecurity. So CCUA's mission statement is a bit more complex, but again, kind of has the basics. So CCUA works to enhance our community's health by connecting people to agriculture and the land, through hands-on learning opportunities from seed to plate. So again, they have that brand, seed to plate, at the end of their mission statement, but it's a little bit more complex in regards to what they do, right? And then the last one is the U.S. Fund for UNICEF, and it's very complex. It gives statistical information and grounds the person reading the mission statement and what is their impact, right? What is that overall goal that they're trying to make? Doing whatever it takes to save a child, working in over 150 countries. UNICEF is a global humanitarian organization, humanitarian relief organization providing children with healthcare, clean water, nutrition, education, emergency relief, and sorry, I keep having to move you guys, and more. The U.S. Fund for UNICEF supports UNICEF's humanitarian relief work through fundraising, advocacy, and education in the United States. So it gives you even more information about the different areas that they look for. So what I thought would be fun would be to build a mission statement and figuring out what our organization wants to accomplish, how are we going to accomplish the goal, who are we serving, who are we engaging in this process with, what are the values of the organization, what is our area of focus, where will we be providing our services. So 3 things to really think about is why you exist or why the agency exists, who do we serve, right, and how do we serve them. So I thought it would be fun to go ahead and build an idea of what our mission statement looks like. And so I am going to open up a new slide and we are going to create our agency together. Okay, are you ready? You're just going to have to indulge me because I've got 30 minutes and I'm going to go back to our specific programming, but I really want this to be kind of an active experience, especially coming off of Dr. Spain because he's so inspirational. So go ahead. Who wants to take a shot? What is our nonprofit going to do? Anybody? Who are we going to serve? Are we going to be focusing on food insecurity? Yes? Okay, I see a head. Okay, what is our niche in regards to food insecurity?
I'll read the chat. Eleni, we've got fight extreme hunger.
Okay, fight extreme hunger.
You guys feel free to unmute and comment too.
Oh yes, and I can follow along on the chat too. I'm sorry.
Hard to do all those boxes at once.
Okay, fight extreme hunger. Who are we fighting for? Any ideas? Everyone? The whole world?
People who can't provide for themselves.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good. What else?
Increase food production.
Okay, great.
Increase wages so people can actually afford food.
Increase wages. Oops, I can't spell. Okay. Great. Anything else?
Maybe decrease waste so that food that was going to be wasted goes to people in need.
Okay. Okay. And do we have parameters for our program? Are we trying to focus in on people in Boone County? Are we trying to focus in on the state of Missouri? Are we trying to focus in on the United States? Are we trying to focus in internationally, developing countries?
I think we can go with the United States. Just
Okay.
all of us would have info about it.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, so fight extreme hunger, people who can't provide for themselves, increase food production, increase wages so people can afford food, decrease waste so that food that was going to be wasted goes to people in need. Our target is the United States. Do we have a name for our nonprofit? Any ideas? No, that's okay. We don't need a name.
It could be fighting food insecurity.
Okay, fighting food insecurity.
Or Tigers for Food Security. I don't know.
Tigers for food security. Okay. Okay. Excellent. So if we go back to our examples, right? So here we are. So the American Heart Association's mission statement is straightforward and moving, building healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. And then let's look at CCUA, right? So CCUA works to enhance our community's health by connecting people to agriculture and the land through hands-on learning opportunities from seed to plate. So I think those are really good examples of maybe what direction that we want to go to in our statement. So let's take a stab at it. So Tigers for food. Are we for food security? Is that what we're trying for? Tigers for food security?
Yeah, we're not for insecurity.
No. I don't think that's good. Okay, Tigers for Food Security is a nonprofit that engages, let's see, is a nonprofit that fights food insecurity throughout the United States, throughout the US, by increasing food production and working with I don't know, working with various stakeholders to decrease food waste. So it's very difficult, right? When you think about it, how you can kind of put all of that information in something very, very clear and concise that hopefully identifies who you are, the population that you're working with, and then also what you hope to do, right? That impact you want to make. So Tigers for Food Security is a nonprofit that fights food insecurity throughout the US by increasing food production and working with various stakeholders to decrease food waste. I don't think we've said much, have we? And we're not very catchy. But
I think our goals are a bit broad. We probably need to just choose one of them.
I know. I think our goals are a bit broad. But I think the point of the exercise, and you guys did an awesome job, is to understand that when you're volunteering, and this is one thing that we try and really stress to our students, when you're volunteering out in the community, when you're participating in various different programs, when you're looking at a mission statement and trying to decide if you want to donate $5 million or how you want to support that agency, there are so many layers and it's so complex. And as a volunteer and as a change agent, it's important for you to critically assess what's going on in that nonprofit, what's going on with their programming, how they can actually impact the population served, whether or not their goals are realistic, and what those goals look like. What does that look like in the social and political landscape of that country, or that state, or that county? And so even as a volunteer, so what I would stress in the Office of Service Learning, and we do this quite a bit, is that as a volunteer, I challenge you to really jump into the nonprofit that you're working with, read as much as you can, read the annual report and read the mission statement, read all of their grants, research the agency and what you're doing with the agency like you would a research report, right? Because that agency truly becomes your textbook. And that is really what we encourage students to do, because we can learn so much from the community that we serve. It is a reciprocal relationship. And I think that sometimes we oftentimes go into this saying, I'm going to give, but you get so much out of it. And so, you know, as you like I said, go out into the community, participate in these programs, create these programs, because it sounds like you guys are amazing and you're going to do that. Just to really jump in and be a critical learner while you're out in the community and really look at some of the social issues and problems in the programming that's out there. What are their roots? Where is it coming from? Who's the population that they're hoping to serve? How will they impact that population? And what does that mean for us as a community, as a state, as a nation, as part of kind of our global village? And so I advise you to do that. And in the Office of Service Learning, that's what we try and encourage you to do. And that's why our university is so focused in on working with our community, being a member of that community, and being engaged with the community. And that's a big part of what Mizzou does and what Mizzou hopes to do with their students. So again, the goal was really just to look at that complexity, and as you dive into these opportunities, for you to kind of pull back the layers as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And that was helpful. And so again, in the Office of Service Learning at Mizzou, we really focus in on students' passion, interest, what inspires them, what they want to learn about within the community in regards to social justice issues, and then how can we connect you with those opportunities. So again, we have an internship program that places students in nonprofit internships. We also have a government program that allows students to not only explore grassroots efforts in the community, but to take that to the next level, working with a representative or a senator or even a congressperson in DC, looking at the policy that revolves around that. So again, I was with an agency partner the other day, and they talked about the drone view. And I always talk about the macro level, right? But I love this idea of the drone view. And so in an ideal world, we would love students to participate in a nonprofit grassroots internship, and then also participate in a government internship. We're working with a policymaker so that you understand how that lawmaking process happens and how you can really be impactful at that level. And then we also run global service trips. So we go to developing countries and we work with NGOs on the ground in regards to various different issues. And some of them are education focused, some of them are health focused, some of them are focused on animal conservation. So there's lots of different, and sustainability in the environment. There are lots of different opportunities there as well. We have a minor in leadership and public service. And if civic engagement is something you're passionate about, there are so many opportunities on Mizzou's campus to highlight that in your academic portfolio. And I always tell students, you know, one of the best exercises that I did when I taught a learning strategies class is at the beginning of the class, I told students, go ahead and let's create a resume of the person that you want to be at the end of the 4 years, right? So who is that person you're trying to become, right? What does that resume look like? What are the things that you want to do? And let's visualize that together. And I challenge you to do that when you get here. Figure out what are those paths? How are you going to integrate that into your plan? It could be research. It could be various different minors. It could be dual majors, double majors. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that since I graduated with the 3 undergraduate degrees. I could not make up my mind. So I think that, you know, find all of those awesome opportunities that are out there. And it seems like you're already prepared to kind of have that formula to be that change agent. And so visualize that, think about it. What is that path? Find a faculty mentor and really embrace that. And then, like I said, always be a critical learner, no matter what you're doing, always be a critical learner. So, again, we have all those opportunities. We love for you to come see us. Any classes where service is part of the homework, we help facilitate that. And so you can build that into your academic plan. But I advise freshmen when they come in, and the freshman classes I go and talk to, you don't necessarily need to take a service learning class to be an engaged service learner, right? So you can create that environment for yourself by doing exercises like we just did together, right? Really delving into the nonprofit that you're working with, or the agency that you're working with, or the internship that you're doing, or the policy piece that you're investigating, and really use it as an opportunity to enlighten yourself and potentially be an active citizen in that community issue. So that's kind of what we do in the Office of Service Learning.